Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. So one of the things I didn't like on my Deka Hogue was the thumb studs. I feel are a little oversized and just kind of ugly. Now that it has these beautiful scales on it from Original Goat OG, I thought that, I've upgraded it a couple of times now. And I thought that I would go ahead and change out these thumb studs. I actually just got something. I know that any thumb studs that will work on Benchmade knives on the bug out will also work on the Hogue, is what I heard. So I got these from Amazon rather than spending a lot of money on it. I don't know, I just didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on these little thumb studs and get something fancy. I just wanted to change them out. So I believe these cost $7, and I'll link them in the description. So we've got T8s. Seems rather large, surprisingly large for this. And we'll see if these will actually fit. I could have gotten the wrong ones and I might be screwed. While I was doing this, I thought I'd talk a little bit about philosophy. I ask myself regularly if I should cancel this channel. The answer is probably yes. There are so many people who know so much more about everything that I talk about on a regular basis than I do. But the thing is that I enjoy doing this. I don't know why, but I do indeed enjoy looking at gear, looking at knives, changing things out, playing with them, futzing around, and I like recording it too. So you're stuck with me. Hopefully you find some of the stuff that I do interesting. I already can tell, I think that this is definitely the wrong size. Is this the wrong size? Maybe not. Maybe this will work. Let's see. Oh wow. I think that these will work. Okay. Definitely a lower profile. I mean, if we just hold these up side by side, you can see definitely thinner. And let's see if these are going to work. Yeah. That is great. So that feels a lot better. That's just a lot nicer, and it looks a lot nicer too. Cool. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to go ahead and put some Loctite on these too. So I think this is a pretty good deal. Steel, really. Yeah. You know, I did a lot of sailing. I've built a lot of boats as a hobby. After college, I started building boats on the side and then going on a adventure race type things, or raids, really. And these raids, I started, futzing around with gear, getting a lot of stuff. What's the best gear to take? Honestly, knives, my knife game back in the day was horrendous. I consistently got bad knives and never really paid attention to knives. Whereas my game on tents and sleeping pads and equipment to cook with, very high. Like I went through a lot and I looked at a lot of stuff, and I know I have a lot of confidence in that field right now. Knives, I'm learning. I've been in the game for really gotten into studying knives and figuring out knives only in the last year and a half, 2 years. And I was watching a bunch of these YouTube channels and seeing them talk about their different knives and stuff, and thinking to myself, this seems like the age, and I needed a hobby during COVID, so I just kind of went with it. I'm well aware, though, that there are people much more qualified than me to give any kind of advice or whatever. So I hope that people who watch my content realize that I'm learning just as much from you guys as you are learning from me, hopefully. I learn a lot through the comments. A lot of people leave some pretty interesting comments that lead me down rabbit holes, have me learn a lot of stuff. And I really appreciate that. I can't thank you guys enough. For instance, this Hogue Deka, like, I bought it, and I thought the handles were pretty cheap, and I thought that putting these OG scales on them would be like putting pig on a lipstick is what I said. And a lot of people pushed back in the comments on that. So eventually I just went ahead and got some OG scales, and I got to admit, this makes this knife feel really nice. And then, you know, the next thing, and so, you know, I really appreciate that comment and that feedback. I wasn't going to get this knife. It's, what, $120? Magnacut, I mean, there are definitely cheaper knives out there that are, and slightly more expensive knives that do things that this knife apparently does really well. Don't really like access locks or bar locks that much. I had a Shadow, and I went ahead and sold it after having it for a few weeks, just because I didn't like it. And the bug out I sold as well. I had a bug out and I sold that. This one, though, something about it. I like it. I like the action. I like the way it feels. I like the blade shape. I think this is an interesting blade shape. I'm a sucker for a reverse Tonto. And honestly, with this diamond texturing on the OG scales, it just feels really good. And I know that I can take this pretty much anywhere. Some of the internal parts probably aren't as stainless as I would like. And if I took this to the ocean, I'd probably get some rust. But I don't know. We'll see. Probably take this with me just to see. But, you know, it's perfectly serviceable little knife. Action is great. And the way the bar lock works is really good. I had to, you know, futz with it when I first got it and tune it up. It ended up working out fine. So, next thing I'd like to research and see is this clip. I still don't like the fact that the screws stand proud on this clip. The clip itself, although perfectly fine bent, I think there might be a better solution to that. I might research that. There might also be a better solution to this lock bar. This really bothered me when I first got it because it felt a little sharp, but now that I've had it for a while, it actually doesn't bother me as much. I got to tell you, I really like these thumb studs a lot more than the other ones. They are definitely cheap, but they work good. They're a little bit smaller, and I feel like it makes the action better somehow. Just easier to flick open. Really like this jimping still on the top. How the OG has this jimping that matches up with the top of the blade. I think that's really nice. Just gives a really nice place to grip up onto. I like that. And I really, really like the texture of this OG scales. It just feels really good. The only hot spot, I wouldn't even call this a hot spot. This doesn't, I mean, I could see if I was cutting with this for an hour that might start to bother me, but just for everyday use, I don't think it really bothers me. All right, thanks, guys. That was a short little silly video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe, and you can find me on Sharp Ends, on Instagram at Sharp Ends as well. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your week.